In this video, I'm going to demonstrate the differences between using an analog joystick input for movement and a keyboard, both with and without throttle decay. With a joystick, you can use the forward and reverse movements as pushing forward and pulling back on your joystick. You can also use the throttle slider. However, in MWO, it is more advantageous to use it in this combination. And then moving left and right on the joystick is left and right in your mech. The advantages of a joystick is the complete control of your throttle, both reverse and forward, and turning right and left. You can control the velocity at which you turn. You can slowly turn, and you can quickly turn. It's very smooth movement. This is the only advantage of an analog input. It does not increase speed or decrease speed, turn right or left any faster than you can with a keyboard. Now I'm going to demonstrate a keyboard movement with throttle decay not checked. Without throttle decay, the more you press a button, your throttle will go up or down. You adjust the level at which it changes. This is a terrible feature for light mechs because the rate is constant, moving from a set speed. There's no change in speed from your input. And as you can see, it takes a very long time to decrease your speed or change it to any rate. There is no reason to use this feature in a light mech that depends entirely upon movement, because you can't react quick enough, and it's naturally slower than an analog input. However, if we go into our settings, to game settings, and check throttle decay, what this does is that when you press any key for throttle, it instantly inputs the maximum value. As you can see, that green bar is instantly filled. That's your input, both reverse and forward. The other advantages of using a keyboard, other than 100% throttle input, is 100% turning input. It creates a jagged turning speed that you can tap in increments. It's not a fine-tuning movement. Your fine-tuning comes down to your aim, which you use with your mouse in both situations. When I turn, I'm both using my mouse and my keys. On a joystick, going back to throttle, you can see that green indication changes because you can control the speed and hold it at a certain rate. However, in a light mech, there is no reason to move slower than your maximum speed. Moving at this speed, compared to this speed, compared to this speed, and then your maximum speed. Your survival in a light mech depends on your speed and your maneuvering, not one set of movement keys. Moving forward as fast as possible makes you harder to hit, but also being able to turn as fast as possible and make adjustments as quickly as possible are what key elements you need to survive as a light mech, especially in a Locust, being the lightest mech and the most maneuverable of any mech in the game. So again, turning with a joystick, turning with keyboard. It is inherently a disadvantage in the time it takes you to move from one direction to another because of the physical time it takes you to move your hand from one side to another, compared to a keyboard where you have two fingers placed above two separate keys controlling your left and right movement, which you can do almost instantaneously. In fact, you can hold down one direction and then only press the opposite direction if you want to turn that way. About as instant as you can possibly get. Also, the same applies to your throttle, moving forward and backwards as quickly as possible. It is much faster and no transition time between forward and reverse movement compared to the joystick. It's very similar. However, there is a small delay in time that it takes you to physically transition from forward to reverse movement. Although it is very, very close. The biggest difference is the amount of physical effort required to make movements for your mech. That about covers all of the basics between a keyboard and analog input for movement.